I'm so excited to introduce you to this extraordinary woman, extraordinary youth, extraordinary entrepreneur. It's really interesting to look back at our lives as somebody of this age and look back and see that you really were always an entrepreneur. You always were that leader, that person that stood up and just took action when you seen that there was a need. But when I look at our youth that are doing this, I couldn't be more proud. And so excited to introduce you to someone that I will call a friend. Samantha, I met your mom a few years ago, and I actually got a chance to meet you in person. And I think there's going to be many, many more opportunities for us to continue to connect and learn more about each other. But when I got an opportunity to ask you to come on to this, I got super excited for many, many reasons. But I'd love to hear from you as an extraordinary youth. What are you excited about? What lights you up? And go ahead and tell everybody who you are and where you're from as well. What lights you up?
Well, hello, my name is Samantha Reyes, or Sam. I'm currently a high schooler in Irvine, California, and I'm 16 years old right now. And one thing that lights me up is marine, well, what I'm going to talk about today is my project, Shell EBRATE the Seas, which is centered around my love for marine biology. And ever since I was a kid, I always had the privilege of being able to go to beaches or visiting aquariums with my families. As we got older, we would start to travel to these places such as Hawaii or Mexico. And every time I was surrounded by the ocean and all of the animals in it, I that's where I felt like my true calling was. And I just had this like I was very curious to learn more about it, and I loved every single little fact that I could learn. So,
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, she spilled a lot there, and I was kind of teasing out on it because I didn't want to know how much I wanted to go into this. But you actually have your own business, nonprofit. Explain to me what that actually is and how I know there was a lot of excitement, but how does somebody start a business and a nonprofit? And maybe I'm using the wrong words, but clarify that. How do you even do that at your age?
well, right now, we are a youth organization. We are actually working towards becoming a nonprofit. We're not an official nonprofit yet, but it's getting there. And how I started it, really, it took myself and a lot of courage, and then also a team behind me to kind of just get something out there and then work at it as we continue to develop. So, right now, my organization is called Shell EBRATE the Seas. And how it started was after I went to the UN World Oceans Day in 2024. I was one of a couple of youth delegates, and I'm very honored to have had that experience. While I was there, I was able to meet a lot of other youth delegates who were starting their own projects and also talk to a lot of older, more inspirational speakers, such as I'm not sure if you've heard of Sylvia Earle.
No.
She is she's one of my role models, and she's also one of the most um, pioneering in ocean exploration and ocean advocacy. And I'm very grateful that I got to meet her. But after that experience, I was very touched by everyone in that environment, really, no matter their age. And since other youth, I saw them starting their own projects, I was like, why not do my own? And
I
that's where
love
the
that.
idea of Celebrate the Seas came from.
Well, okay, so we talked about courage, but we also talked about that leadership quality of why not, right? That curiosity. I seen somebody else do it. I can do that too. One of the things we're doing here, Samantha, is this is all about celebrating and highlighting extraordinary women making extraordinary moves across the globe. And the reason that I wanted to create this is I wanted people to be able to see others do it. So sometimes our stories are so extraordinary, you're just like, oh my goodness. But there's also extraordinary in the little things. I know I can speak to you about that. You get that because you witness that in others. So when we tell our stories and share a piece of an extraordinary move we made, that ripple effect, that everything that changed because you made that decision, I would love to hear about a time that you can look back now and see that it was an extraordinary move you made, and you're here today sharing this because of it.
Well, another extraordinary move that I have made with like Shell EBRATE the Seas was kind of, I wasn't, at first, I wasn't fully sure what I wanted to do with it. I just know that I wanted to help and reach other people and share what I love about the ocean, especially because these topics are very prevalent in today's community. And so eventually I thought of maybe reaching the youth and other people who are my age or younger, because they're going to be the next generation and take on all of these world problems that we have today. And so I started creating a curriculum, and this curriculum, I honestly wasn't sure how far I would get because I was going based off of my own knowledge and research that I've learned from previous experiences at like summer camps and or other marine scientists. And after I developed this curriculum, thanks to a lot of my connections in the Philippines, we were actually able to get our first event out there. And from there, it started rolling and continuing to grow.
Wow. Wow. I am continually blown away with what you've done, and what you're continuing to do and evolve in. So you had your first event. We're talking a live event, an international event. What does it take to go from concept to the point where you're celebrating and looking back and going, what does that take? Can you just take us through a bit of a
Of course.
journey?
Well, it does take a lot of work. And if it was something that I wasn't as passionate about, it would have been a lot harder for me to get out. Also, because during this time of creating the curriculum and planning the event, I was in the middle of school. Like I had AP exams, I had finals. And so juggling all of that was a bit of an obstacle for me, but I wouldn't have been able to do it without the help from my team, and the support from like my loved ones around me, especially my family.
Yeah.
And um, from that, like I came up with the concepts, and then with my team, we were able to work together and create a like physical thing for
Okay.
the event. And then from there, we were able to reach out to, for example, like others in the Philippines who were able to help get us the venue, get us the food, and then get the materials, the volunteers. And it really took a lot of work, but I am so glad that we are able to make it happen.
Oh my goodness, I am so glad. And it really, I can hear your excitement in it. A lot of people might do one event and go, okay, been there, done that, never doing that again. But I feel like there's a lot more events in your future. What is something that you dream of creating or facilitating at this point of your life? A big dream.
I think another big dream with this Shell EBRATE the Seas would be to reach other places, because it is something that can be shared around the world. Like it started in the Philippines. We've also been able to host another event here in Orange County at the OC Fair, and we're doing another one locally in Irvine. But I would love to get this curriculum out to a bunch of other places and connect with other leaders who would be willing to take this on and share it, maybe adapt it to their own ecosystems or their own animals that they would love to focus on.
Okay, I love this. So let's go into the curriculum because you've talked about it. You came up with the concept, you built out a curriculum. And now you're actually even willing to share that curriculum with others so that you can even be a bigger organization. I have two questions. I'm going to go to, how did you think about building it and then sharing it out? Have you seen that done before, or is that just something that you just knew in your heart you wanted to do?
I think, well, part of it was what I wanted to do because I love being able to, again, share my knowledge and teach others what I know. And then also, I am a volunteer at the Aquarium of the Pacific in Long Beach. And they have these youth programs that are able to share information around the aquarium stationed at carts. And I kind of took inspiration from that and into my organization and my curriculum because I love the way that they're able to teach aquarium guests with hands-on materials and information, and I wanted to do that as well.
Okay, that answered that question. I love that. So if anybody's watching, and you've got quite a few here watching, so thank you for being live. If anybody's watching and you're thinking, well, why wouldn't I get involved? Why wouldn't I reach out to her and say, I'll help create something? I know that we have Lene and from Hawaii. Like, we have people watching just that I see. I think we got somebody from Australia as well. What if they wanted to connect with you and kind of fish out what does that look like to kind of coincide and build something together? I almost see like Earth Day, where it's like your thing, but it's all around the world happening at one time. How can they reach you, or what should they do to kind of pitch their idea to you, I guess, is what I'm wondering.
Well, if you wanted to connect with me, I'm very excited to like reach out and you could contact me directly. My email is shellebratetheseas@gmail.com. We also have a website, shellebratetheseas.org, where you can comment. And from that, we could see how like I could best help you and your ideas for where you're at because I'm also about like adaptability. And this curriculum, as we did just start a year ago, it's still growing and adding new things. And I'd love to see how we can help in your area of expertise.
Ah, such a beautiful answer. Okay, now I want to circle back to the curriculum.
Yes.
What- There is a lot of people, probably people watching this, but people in my world that have an amazing message to share. They know what they want to say, but still haven't built out a curriculum. So I would love to hear from your perspective of what did that take to actually focus and get a curriculum built?
Well, I love every aspect of the ocean, and there's so much in there that it's hard to cover everything. So, with the curriculum, we just started with two animals, which are sharks and sea turtles. They're very common animals, so it's a lot easier to get a connection with those younger kids. And then two ecosystems, coral reefs and kelp forests. And having those as a basis, I feel like is very diverse and very helpful to show people some things they're familiar with and some that they're not as familiar with but would like to learn more about. And really, even though there's a lot of information in all of this, my main goal was for them to have one key takeaway from that curriculum, whether it be the simplest thing as like sharks are diverse to a new fact that they learned about how like coral reefs are corals are made up of like a very complex system of polyps and that work together with this specific algae to feed and keep themselves healthy. So, yeah.
You are such a natural born educator. And I love that you're so excited to educate. The one key concept and takeaway. Yeah, wowzers. Okay. There's so many places I want to go with this conversation. I feel like I need to have you on several more times, but if somebody, okay, let's go here. Let's be real. This is a lot of work, but it's also not free to do all these things. So how do you get the funding in order to create the impact that you're creating? What are you doing to create profit or money?
Yes. So As we are like a youth organization, and like you mentioned, it's not free, unfortunately. Like in a perfect world, I would love to just give all of this out for free because I believe that knowledge should be shared with everyone so that we can all make a difference. But one thing we're doing is we are taking donations. It's again on our website, shellebratetheseas.org, and those are greatly appreciated because then we're able to fund our venues, fund our materials, things like that. And then we also, I've created a Celebrate the Seas t-shirt. Oh, I'm not sure if you can
I'd
see.
pull it right back to your face and then we'll put it for, there we go. Oh, there
There
we
we
go.
go.
It's there. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Those are
So,
gorgeous.
thank you.
So
So
you
these
designed
shirts,
that?
yes, they were designed by me and my team,
Yeah.
and we've made them so that if you're able to donate $30 or more, you will get sent a free shirt. And these shirts aren't just for like fun. I mean, of course, they're fun, bright, and colorful, which embodies, um, I guess, the vibe of Celebrate the Seas. But also, with the shirts comes a little note that you can pick one of the animals on there and do a bit of research on it because we also want to inspire like your own learning and doing stuff by like your own will because if you were to come to one of our events, that wouldn't just be a one-time thing. This wants to be a lasting impact. And so it's a fun little thing where you can learn about a new animal and then share 3 things you learned with family and friends. So yeah.
Wow. Again, I have to go back to the ripple effect. When somebody steps up and chooses to do this type of work, step up and be a leader, guiding others to do the work, there's such a huge ripple. Do you have a story that you can share with us, knowing that what you're doing truly matters?
Yes. Um, well, I mean, like I was at the OC Fair a couple weeks ago, and there was we were there over the weekends, and our booth was located in like this building. And then I was there last year with a different organization, and the difference between the engagement then and now, and at the booth as well this year, I was able to see all ages, not just youth. Like there were teenagers, we even had some adults who were interested in just taking a little break and coming and playing. And it was really amazing to see that. We had about like 400 guests estimated total in the course of those weekends. So,
Well, that is definitely an impact. And I think that when we can make education fun and
yes.
engaging, because you've done both. Number one, the vibe that you have happening, but also just in talking to you, it's very educational. And I want to know more. I want to do more. And I think that that's that engagement part. You have a natural ability of pulling people in. What do you, what is one thing that you wish everybody knew? And that's again, all ages. You might be again talking at the UN level where it's somebody like that can really make decisions. And it might be the 6-year-old that comes up to you. But is there one thing that kind of encompasses all those age groups that if they knew, that things would change?
I think one thing that either a lot of people don't know or don't really consider as much is that the ocean affects everyone, no matter who you are, especially no matter where you live, if you're in the middle of the United States or if you're right next to the ocean, you are affected by it somehow, in some way, whether it's the weather or the water that you receive, all of that circles back to the ocean. And I think that raising that awareness and showing people how that is very important in their lives. Like I said before, it is becoming more prevalent now, but a lot of people are still very unaware about it. Um, Raising that awareness will help them maybe change their mindset a little bit and think, oh, so if this is important to me and how I live my life, then how can I help?
Wow. Wowzers. What a great answer. I'm thinking about it that we live in the prairies in Alberta, Canada. And yet, absolutely, we are affected by the ocean, or the ocean is affected by us. So, yeah, thank you for bringing that into perspective. So I happen to know that your family loves to take some amazing holidays and experience the ocean. Can you share a little bit about what that means to you to be able to do this as a family as well?
Yes, of course. So, like you mentioned, my family has all recently gotten scuba certified a couple years ago in August of 23. And then we do scuba diving as a family. So we've been to like Mexico. We did some scuba diving most recently in the Philippines. And my sister and I have even gone in the Caribbean before. And being able to do that as a family is also really fulfilling because it's one of it's a hobby or an activity that I love the most with the people I love the most. And I love being able to share that with them in that community. So, yeah.
And I can almost see that as like another side step of this, where other families that want to learn how to do this together as well, because I think that, as
Yeah.
women, we get kind of like retreats or something that we say, oh, let's go together and do something as a retreat. But I know a lot of people say, well, I want to actually do a family retreat. When I
Mm.
circle back to something you're doing with educating and showing and bringing an experience, like, wow, would I want to come. I want to go on that one with you. So if you ever start thinking about that, definitely let us know.
Thank you. Yes. And also,
Sam, this has just been so beautiful having a conversation with you. And sorry that I just interrupted you there, but I want to circle back and hand you the floor in case I haven't touched on something, because there's so much. And I think that I'll make sure that I put all of your connections and all that in here. And I'd written an article on LinkedIn last week, I believe, about you as well.
thank you.
Even that doesn't even start to touch all the things that you're doing and the way you're impacting others. What would something that you would tell women in here, women that may be making extraordinary moves, but maybe there's another level to that? Maybe they've never made an extraordinary move or don't recognize it yet. Maybe they have a child or a grandchild that they know could learn from you. What would be the message to women in this group?
I think my message to women and really to everybody is just to put yourself out there. Actually, what I was going to say, another level of scuba diving is it isn't exactly like the safest sport and it can be really scary sometimes. Like I've had some terrifying experiences going scuba diving, and so has like my mom or my sister or my dad. But being able to do that as a family gives me more of the courage to um, just go out there and put myself out there. And it's something that I really love. And I think the same thing applies for like Shell EBRATE the Seas, because I will admit this whole process has been very nerve-wracking, and I have a lot of like what ifs that are in my head. Like, what if I don't reach enough people? What if like my curriculum doesn't turn out to be as like fit for everyone? But I just put myself out there and I did it because really like that is the first step that you need to take in order to reach the next level. And so after doing that, I'm able to look back on it and go, wow, I really was able to make an impact. And that's what fulfilled me the most.
Wow, you're definitely making an impact.
Thank you.
Just in this conversation today here, I have been reminded of so many really important pieces, and that's taking the steps. That's,
Yes.
you know, uh, being courageous. Sometimes it
Yeah.
takes that. When you shared about being with your family, even helped you be more courageous and feel safe in that. And I think about, what we're building here as community. It's
Yes.
in it that when we do it together, that we can really go, I can do that. This isn't
Yeah.
hard. It has to light you up. And when you started this conversation and when I asked you what lit you up, you lit right up like a like a candle.
Thank
Uh,
you.
Yeah.
And it isn't a competition either. Like you said, it's a community. And I don't think, like, honestly, I'm never gonna be ready to put myself out there. But the fact that I still do it anyway helps me grow and reach those new like checkpoints. So, yeah.
Very good point. I think every one of us can relate to that. We may not feel ready, but we do feel the nudge, the whisper, the continuing, the excitement, the curiosity of, I wonder if. And
Mm.
so you also mentioned that, staying curious. Well, again, I could ask you so many questions, but I want to circle back to how can others help you continue creating this impact and this ripple? One last time.
Thank you. So we have an acronym C, share, engage, and advocate. So share, the S is again sharing about like what you learned here or going to our website and sharing about our curriculum to anyone who you think can help. And then engaging is again connecting with me personally or donating, and that would be very much appreciated. And then advocating is taking your own steps with what you know and what you would like to advocate about, no matter what realm of ocean conservation or even like sustainability. Just speaking up for yourself and your community in a bunch of different ways. So,
Wow. Absolutely phenomenal. Any last words from you before we say goodbye, Samantha?
I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity and being able to speak here. And also thank you to everyone who is here listening, hopefully inspired, and to my team as well, who have helped me reach this point. My team of like my design team, my family support, and everyone who has worked to get my events out and my curriculum out to the world.
Wow. Thrilled to have you here, Samantha. Thank you so much for joining us on a day off of school. Continue doing all you do and continue to share with us and celebrate with us what you're doing so we can stay behind you. Come back in here, drop your links so people can find out more about you and maybe answer a few of these amazing people. We've been having hearts and all the things and comments. So we're really excited to have you as our first youth.
Thank
I'm
you.
just going to throw it out there to everybody that if you have somebody that we should be interviewing, whether it's your best friend, whether it's your granddaughter, whether it's you, please let us know so that we can get them on our show as well. Thanks, Samantha.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie.